I'm Tameka with Colliers. I'm the Community Engagement Manager. Walter is here with me. I talked a little bit about our COVID-19 protocols. We're keeping in line with the CDC. We're asking that if you are not fully vaccinated, and if you are, you still need to wear a mask inside the building. The next thing we have is near building updates, the community market updates. Tron, can you talk about that, please?
Absolutely. Good evening, everybody. My name is Tron Banks. Is there a way I can share my screen really fast? Am I able to share my screen? I mean, if not, I'll just talk through it, but. Okay, so.
I think at the bottom of your
I'm disabled. This says host disabled participant screen share. If not, I'll just talk about the events that we have coming up. This weekend, we will have Atlanta Indie Market joining us. So that should be exciting and different to have a collaborative market this weekend. Next week, as you all know, we have a lot going on next weekend. Actually, we have the Great Pumpkin Scavenger Hunt. So we're still kind of figuring out whether we're going to do a map or like maybe 4 or 5 different kind of questions to lead kids around the property to trick or treat. But the idea is to, if it's a map, then they'll be led throughout the property to get to like a great pumpkin. That's where we're going to hide like a pumpkin and fill it up with candy. We're also going to have other kids games on the field to give away candy during the market. And we're having a creative costume contest. So with the creative costume contest, we don't really want to see like big box, like store bought costumes. We want kids to get creative and use, things around the house. They might have any kind of paper, construction paper. You said
It was
like cardboard, paper, and any kind of like leaves. Just get creative, basically. So we're gonna have a contest to see who can have like the most creative costume. So those are 2 events to be on the lookout for. That evening, we'll be having my event with the market is Pittsburgh Past, Present, and Future, which we'll be shooting this weekend also. So what we've done, it actually started during the festival. The festival, we took different applicants, people who've lived in Pittsburgh. We've had legacy residents. We've also had people who just moved to Pittsburgh. We've had people who were the first tenants inside of the NIA building. And we wanted to have an honest conversation about how do people see the future of this community going forward, and to be able to tell some stories about the past of Pittsburgh, because what we've learned is a lot of people have different views of what Pittsburgh is and what it was, depending on when you moved in. So it should be really interesting. Like I said, we'll be shooting this weekend, and we'll have our pop-up theater next Saturday at 7 after the market. And we're also planning a 5 pillars of hip hop. I guess you can call it like an art installation, but we're still in the early planning stages of that. That's actually going to be November, the second week in November, that Saturday when we'll launch that program. So we'll have flyers and everything for everybody. And that's about it for the market for right now.
Okay, thank you, Tron. Are our partners from the Village Market on? Can you talk, please? Dominga, Andre?
Yep, I'm here. Sorry, I was trying to get off mute and I'm on my phone. So hello, everybody. I'm Andre Whittington with Our Village United, and I can share some updates for us. So we have next week, we'll have a cybersecurity session that'll be powered by MasterCard. It'll be on site. We're working out those finalized details now, but it'll be next Thursday between 12 o'clock and 1:30 p.m. We're going to have some leaders from the MasterCard team come on site. We'll be sending out an Eventbrite for that tomorrow for the businesses. We're also working to provide lunch during that event for those that will be attending. The businesses that attend will also be able to get their businesses screened by the MasterCard cybersecurity team, and they'll provide you some insights on some of your vulnerabilities that may exist within your business from a cybersecurity standpoint. So we're really excited about that. They'll be traveling in, and we were able to get that team locked in to actually come on site to do that session. We also have a session that'll happen in November, and we'll provide more details on that. But we're going to have a tax accountant come and actually do a session that will focus on sharing insight on how to maximize your Q4 earnings to better offset some of your taxes that you may have to pay at the beginning of the year, as well as ensure that you are ready, your business taxes and things like that are ready as you transition into 2022. We'll be finalizing our newsletter as well. We're working with one of the tenants there that wanted to share some pretty cool stuff that we'll share in the newsletter that's coming out for next month. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Dominga, is there anything else that I may be missing that's coming up?
I think as far as everything that's coming up shortly, I think that's it. For our tax accounting event, that will actually be taking place on the 17th. It'll be virtual. So you guys can definitely register for that. The registration link will be in the newsletter. And we'll make sure we send everything out so you guys can attend that event via Zoom.
Awesome. And that's all that we have for right now for OBU.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, next we have our guest speakers. Chantel.
Sure, I'll introduce. So glad to hear from our Village United. I kind of consider this the business resource portion of the meeting, which includes our Village United, who's with us on site at Pittsburgh Yards. I want to introduce two guests who fall into this category of providing business supports. Our first guest is Osaremi Odioke. I'm sorry, Odekoye. Osaremi, please forgive me for for butchering your last name. But Osaremi is with the National Development Council. And Osaremi his role is that of a lender and a credit analyst rolled into one. And he focuses on financing small businesses in the East Coast, accomplished using SBA loan products and other non-conventional lending programs. So he'll be here to talk about what the National Development Council offers to small businesses, and also a great new program that they are supporting here in the Atlanta community. I'd also like to go ahead and introduce Natalie Jones, who will follow Osaremi. Natalie Jones is an economic development project manager with the Atlanta Beltline, where her team focuses on a comprehensive strategy to increase equitable economic outcomes for residents and businesses. Her team has also supported the New Business Association, PAC, if anyone has heard of them yet, led by Fit Squad studio owner Moses Carroll. PAC stands for Pittsburgh, Adair Park, Capitol View, and Capitol View Manor. So if you're not engaged with PAC as a business owner at Pittsburgh Yards, please connect. So with that, I'll open it up to Osaremi to talk about the National Development Council and his role and how he can better help serve your business here in Atlanta. Osaremi.
Thank you, Chantel. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
So my apologies for not being on camera today, but I'm from business travel. And wanted to make sure I made this meeting tonight. Not going to take too much of your time. As Chantel mentioned, my name is Osaremi. Last name is Adekoye, so no worries on butchering my name. I represent National Development Council, which is a national nonprofit. It's been around for a little over 52 years. I think we'll turn 53 next year. We're based out of New York City, where I'm also based, currently in Florida, traveling for work, but we work across the country. And for the last 53 years, I've had a mission to really provide capital in all different facets to communities that have been, that we consider to have been left out from traditional capital. And we do that in various ways. One is through low income and new market, using new market tax credit to build low income housing across the country. We also operate 2 fully owned community development financial institutions, also known as CDFIs. One has been around for about 35 years and has a license to make government guaranteed loans through the SBA. And it's been doing this across the country in all 50 states, including Puerto Rico, for the last 30 years. However, what we found was that the SBA program could be a bit restrictive to the communities that we want to lend. And as such, we formed another CDFI about 6 years ago in partnership with the National Urban League, working particularly in Cleveland, as well as in County Urban League, is the Greater Cleveland Urban League, as well. Stanley to fund what we call a capital access program of targeted minority and low income communities, particularly women owned and Black owned businesses, to provide capital to help businesses grow. We have worked in Atlanta, and we've worked on several projects in Atlanta using our new market tax credit allocations to support either housing development or just project development as a whole. However, our lending in Atlanta has been subpar. As I'm helping run our second CDFI is to help in any way I can support the small business ecosystem in Atlanta by creating loan programs with partnerships, working with Invest Atlanta, for example, is a partner that we are, is a new partner of ours that we've been working with to create loan programs in the community. However, the most current opportunity for us to really support the businesses there is through a program called the Soar Fund, which is a program that has been around now for about 5 months, we'll probably make 6 months in a couple of weeks. And it's a program, it's a COVID relief program. But however, we've leveraged this program, particularly in the Atlanta region, as well as in Florida and across the southern state, to support businesses in their growth. So the Soar Fund, again, launched about 6 months ago, and it's a fund that covers pretty much all of the southern state, all the way from Delaware to Texas. And there are about 13 or 14 CDFIs that are participating in this fund. And it's a fund to get businesses capital up to about $100,000 to support either COVID relief or their growth. We've made some loans in the Atlanta area, but we want to do more. And in talking to Chantel over the last couple of weeks, I thought it would make sense for me to join this call to provide you with any information, answer questions about our lending programs in general, but particularly as it relates to SOAR, which is our current efforts in the Atlanta region. We will have other programs in the region without a doubt, and we're actively working on that right now with, as I mentioned, local partners to build loan programs, use our resources from our capital partners that we have across the country to bring those resources to Atlanta to really help fund businesses from startup to businesses that have been around for over 20 years. We make loans as little as $1,000 through microloan programs that we have in different pockets across the country, to loans in the millions of dollars using whether SBA guaranteed programs or other leverage points to make loans to small businesses. Again, I am based in New York. I do visit Atlanta from time to time as I'm working again to build our ecosystem there. But I'm super excited to be here. NDC is a large but small nonprofit. We're known within our ecosystem. We're not known, frankly, in the general public. I want us to be more known because I think the work we're doing is impactful work across the board, whether it's small business lending or it's housing development or it's technical assistance that we're providing either to our local partners or to municipalities that hire us as consultants to help drive or at least help them direct their capital to the appropriate places So excited to be here. Happy to answer any questions you have. My contact information I'll provide in the chat. I'll provide the link to the Soar Fund. And if you have any questions that I cannot get to today, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. Reach out to Chantel. If you can't reach me, she'll find a way to reach me. And again, thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry, Tameka, I did not introduce myself. I don't think having responsibility, Chantel Glenn, responsible for development and operations at Pittsburgh Yards. I work closely with Walter and Tameka, but I represent the Casey Foundation, who is the major supporter of the Pittsburgh Yards project. So just want to put that out there. You can find me. I'm located at Pittsburgh Yards as well. And we are taking questions, so please put your questions in the chat or come off mute. I think that's okay. It's a small enough group for us to chime in on questions. But if there are some for Osarume right now, go ahead. If not, we can move forward with Natalie. Natalie, I see, has popped up on the screen. Welcome,
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm really excited to be here. As Chantel mentioned earlier, I'm Natalie Jones. I am the Economic Development Project Manager at Atlanta Beltline, Inc. And just to orient everyone before I get into some of the programs of what we have going on, our organization was created in 2005 to oversee the implementation of the trail construction of the 22-mile loop. And between 2005 and 2014, there was no economic development department at the Beltline. So the organization got our first person in 2014, and that person was by themselves until we brought on a second person in 2018. Since then, that person has left, and we kind of have a new team outside of someone who's a friend to this group, Kara King Cooper, who I think was very instrumental and did a lot of work working with a lot of different groups standing up Pittsburgh Yards. But it's myself, and then we have a VP of Economic Development who started in February. I started in January. So our team is fairly new, and what we have been working on over the last few months has really been reimagining what economic development could look like for the Beltline. As we have been doing a lot of research, we've seen in places where the Beltline has been already built out, there has been quite a bit of displacement for small businesses. So what our team has been really focused on is trying to come up with some strategies that can mitigate displacement in portions of the Beltline that hasn't yet been built out. So we know that our small businesses are the keepers of the culture in every part of the Beltline, and we definitely want to honor that. And we also understand that, there are legacy businesses that have been a part of this geography before the Beltline was thought of. So we are very sensitive to that and understand that. So like I said, we've been doing a lot of research and speaking with some of the business associations that are within the Beltline geography. Chantel mentioned a new one, the PAC Rails and Trails Business Association. PAC stands for Pittsburgh, Adair Park, Capitol View, and Capitol View Manor. And they officially became a group in March of 2021, and they have elected their officers. I'm not exactly sure if they have held community meetings just yet, but that is a group that I would encourage everyone to reach out to because they are definitely business oriented and business minded. And when we worked with the Annie E. Casey Foundation to stand up that organization, we looked at the Beltline geography and realized that there was a major gap as far as business representation along that Pittsburgh, Adair Park, and Capitol View Manor geography. So we wanted to make sure that there was representation within the business community. So they are a group that I would encourage everyone to connect with. So what we've been doing is we've been holding listening sessions within the community. So like I said, we've been meeting with the business associations within the Beltline geography. We've been meeting one-on-one with businesses, and we've been working with Invest Atlanta on surveying our businesses. And one of the things that we found constant has been businesses are in need of capital. We know that COVID-19 has crippled a lot of businesses, but we know that before COVID-19, the wealth discrepancy between Black businesses and white businesses in Atlanta, the gap has been very wide. So we are committed to having a specific focus on our target equity areas, which are in sub areas 1 and 2, to provide small business support to businesses that are in those areas. So as we've been speaking with businesses and business associations and listening to what their needs are, our economic development team has come up with a 4-pronged strategy, if you will, for how we are planning to approach this. So the first part of the strategy is we want to provide small business support. So we're not sure exactly what that support looks like. That could look like, grants, or we work with a partner that can provide low interest loans. Or we do have a facade improvement program where we pair local artists with local businesses, and they perform capital improvements to the facade of those businesses to increase the beautification of the neighborhood. So we want to figure out a way to support small businesses that's most impactful. The second part that we want to address is workforce development. So if we have a robust small business support strategy and business is booming, it does no good if businesses don't have the workforce to support the increase in businesses. So we'll be rolling out a workforce development strategy in the coming year or so to make sure that we are addressing the talent needs of our small businesses. The other thing that we have heard has been the amount that it costs to lease commercial space is very high in some portions of the Beltline. I know I live on the west side of the Beltline near Bankhead Highway, and a few years ago, it was about $8 per square foot to rent out a place. And I think the new Echo Street development, they're renting out space for about $41 a square foot. So a lot of a lot of small businesses can't afford that, and it's not sustainable for us to have prices that high all over the Beltline. So we are working on a commercial affordability strategy to make sure that we are mitigating displacement for small businesses that are already here. And then for businesses that don't have a place yet, we want to be able to provide affordable spaces for them. So the Beltline has a land acquisition strategy that we have employed, where we have been acquiring different pieces of land. I think we have about 60 plus acres in different portions of the Beltline. And what our hopes are is when we can control the land, then we can control the prices. So as we're speaking with developers about how they are leasing out spaces, there will be mandates where they will have to provide affordable commercial spaces in some of those buildings that they develop. The last thing of this 4-pronged strategy is our commercial district support. So like I said, we've been speaking a lot with our business associations and community improvement districts. And one of the things that we've heard is that they are severely under-resourced. A lot of these business associations are started and run by small business operators. And so as you all know, if you are running your own business, it's very difficult to also run a business association at the same time. And a lot of the people who run business associations are volunteers. They're not paid employees. So there is a severe lack of resources for the business districts. So we at the Beltline want to develop a strategy to address some of those gaps so that the business associations and community improvement districts are able to provide adequate support for their membership base. The Beltline is funded until 2030. So we have about a little over 8 years left until the Beltline runs out of funding per City of Atlanta legislation. So we are thinking through what that type of support looks like when the Beltline doesn't look exactly like the Beltline Inc. doesn't look exactly like it looks today. So we are committed to thinking through strategies that are long and impactful to the communities that we're serving. And, we will continue on with our listening sessions and hear directly from our businesses of what they need. And that way we can build out what that small business support looks like and exactly what that commercial district support looks like. So this is very different from how the economic development department at the Beltline focused before. I think before, a lot of our strategy was very reactionary. The Beltline is a popular project, and so people know it's coming and they want to be there. And I think our previous strategy has been, if we build it, they will come, and it's been very reactionary. So we're actually trying to get in front of that and try to put some strategies in place that can be long term, so that we preserve the legacy businesses, and also provide programs that bridge the gap between our Black and white businesses that are located here in Atlanta along the Beltline corridor. So that is, in a nutshell, what we are working on. And I am here to answer any questions for anyone who has them. And I too will put my contact information in the chat, and feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie. All right. Now we're going to.
Quick question, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
So who are the faces behind PAC? Because I'm trying to figure out, like, how did that come about? It's so new. I live here in the neighborhood in Adair Park. I'm trying to figure out who are the leaders behind this organization, the faces behind it. I even looked on the website and I don't see anything.
Yeah, so they are a new organization. So before I joined the Beltline, it's my understanding that the Annie E. Casey Foundation gave the Beltline a grant to do outreach within the community district that did not have a lot of business representation. And there were community stakeholders that came together for a few months to figure out, what they wanted a business association to look like. And the money that the Annie E. Casey Foundation gave to this group, they hired a group of consultants to help them build out what a business association would look like. And so they went through and had they went through a few strategy sessions with the consultant firm that the community hired, and then the people who were on the stakeholder committee, they elected interim officers, and they have been kind of running with that ever since. And Moses Carroll, who is the owner of Fit Squad Studio, is the president of that association. And there are a few other people who have businesses in those four specific neighborhoods that I mentioned. I'm happy to give you their names. Their names are escaping me right now, but that is kind of the genesis of how that organization got started. And like I said, this started back in 2020, and in March of 2021 was when the group incorporated themselves as a 501c6, I believe, and developed this organization. And right now, it's my understanding that they are going out to the community to recruit other businesses to be a part of the business association. So they're really starting from the ground up.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any more questions for Natalie before we move on? Okay, well, next we're going to our tenant spotlight, and I'm excited about this. I love our tenants and members here at Pittsburgh Yards, and I'm really excited to introduce Amber Lawson. She is a warrior. I love her. She is the owner and founder of Aspire Construction and Real Estate Consulting. Hey, Amber. She has an extensive background in real estate development, construction, property management. She's the bomb. If you are ever in this building, go see her. She's on the south side and her office is banging. I love it. So Amber, without further ado, it's on you, girl.
Good evening, everybody. Tameka, thank you for the spotlight. I appreciate it. Just wanted to introduce myself to everybody. I've been a tenant at Pittsburgh Yards for the past 3 months. We did our grand opening a couple months ago and it went over really well. I was really excited to share how we had customized the space for our use, especially since we are a construction company. But just to tell you a little bit about Aspire Construction and Design, me personally, I've been doing construction for the past 22 years, and Aspire has been in existence for the past 5 years. And we are super excited to serve our core clientele, which are entrepreneurs, moving into, their first or second brick and mortar space. Commercial leasing can be a lot, and the build out process can be even more confusing, confounding, overwhelming. And so we're here to really help guide you through that process. We offer architecture, engineering, and construction services in-house. So we do the design and the build out. All you have to do is talk to us. So super excited to have the spotlight tonight. If anybody has any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat or just speak up, but it looks like they've dropped my website in the chat. So if anyone wants to reach out via my website, there is a contact page. And I see Natalie dropped in the chat. Yes, I am working with one of my clients is with the Beltine Business Facade Improvement Program, which is Create ATL. It is a co-working space on Murphy Avenue, and we are providing architecture and engineering services to help them customize their space for their future use. So that's a really exciting project, and we're just now wrapping up that design.
Thank you, Amber. Any questions for Amber before we move on? We were supposed to have Tim Eldridge tonight. I just want to shout him out. It's his anniversary and he totally forgot it was his anniversary. And I asked him the beginning of October if we could spotlight him as well. But he will not be on the call tonight. So we're just gonna move on. I don't see if Michelle is on here to talk about the engraved brick program. Michelle, are you on? We'll move on to the property management updates. Walter is going to talk about that. Musical chair.
All right, I'm back. How's everybody doing? With our musical chairs that we're trying to get through here, technical difficulties always happen. How's everyone doing this evening? Hopefully you have enjoyed the meeting so far. Just want to again thank everybody for coming out last month. We had a really good time at the community event. Was very well attended. Very good, good crowds, good vending. A lot of folks were able to attend the building for the first time. Folks that hadn't seen the building in a long time were able to see the final project in its complete space. So that was really good to see. And then we got a lot of folks that were able to tour the building, and a lot of folks that were kind of seeing the building for the first time were able to figure out whether or not this was an opportunity for them to choose as their new home as either a co-working member or a tenant. So it was a really good event. Also want to just bring up also, we had another really, really good event on the 12th of October where we had the grand opening of the south side portion of the Atlanta Beltline. Also a very, very good event attended by Mayor Bottoms, also Clyde Higgs with the Beltline. We also had Councilmember Shepherd, and there were several other community leaders that spoke. Very well attended event. Hopefully you were able to come out and attend that event as well and see a lot of the photo ops and meet a lot of the community members that have been part of that process. So that was really good to have that happen as well. In terms of the updates in the NIA building, as always, I always like to make sure and remind everyone that we are touring on every Thursdays. The tours are at 10:30, 11:30, and 2:30. You can RSVP online at the pittsburghyards.com/events page, or you can also reach out or email if you need to RSVP for those tours. We will be doing those every Thursday. We are also hitting a point in the leasing phase where we're about 70% leased now. So if you are interested in having individual office space at Pittsburgh Yards, definitely come by, see the team so we can talk about available spaces that we have for you, particularly the North Wing, because we probably have about only 3 spaces left in the North Wing. And co-working, we are about 70 or so co-working members now. If you are looking for co-working opportunities, we did a couple tours today, but we had a couple of folks that were looking for alternatives to some of our competitors in that space, but be that WeWork, Spaces, and just the value that we were able to provide to them based on what they were looking for there was no competition in terms of what we offer here at Pittsburgh Yards. So with that, are there any questions for us from a property management standpoint? Are there any questions about leasing, or are there any questions about any of the other speakers that spoke on the call tonight?
I have a question.
Go ahead, Akita.
So, excuse me. So unfortunately, this is like one of my first community meetings. I was busy being a mom. But anyways, I know that from emails and, social media posts and things like that, which I did follow, that I felt like there was a lot more, how do you say it? Like community supported initiatives when it came to the use of the physical building of Pittsburgh Yards. I know that we have the community market that happens every weekend, but I guess I was trying to figure out what other space or initiatives are there to, I guess, make a more blended effort of Pittsburgh Yards being for the community, outside of the market, because I feel like there was other things that were coming up and that were going to fruition, but then obviously last year happened, which affected a lot of things, and I guess I'm trying to play catch up on what did not stick that we could possibly revive.
Was there anything specific that you were talking to, Nikita? We do have the building is open to the public every day from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So if anyone wants to use the space to connect to the internet, we do have guest network opportunities for the community. We also have spaces that are available for use for event space. We've had the Pittsburgh Neighborhood Association has had a couple of neighborhood meetings in the building as well. We have other community events in the building. We actually will have at least 3 community events partnering with the Elevate event this in the last couple of days of the month. I think Tron mentioned that. So we are open to the community. We have our green space that allows for community events as well, be that community festivals, community farmers markets, Screen on the Green. Is there something that you would like to see, or if there's something that you would want to have? We do have options for that. We actually have an event form that can be filled out if you have any interest in any type of events on site. But we are definitely an open building to the community and to the public.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I would like to explore that a little bit more because I did recently start, co-working over there, and I was a bit set back at what the pricing would be to utilize the space as a business, especially to provide community-oriented events. And I guess I thought it would be a little bit more affordable, especially to small businesses that are still starting. And I found that that was not the case, at least for me.
Could I chime in on that real quick, Walter?
Yeah, go ahead, Troy.
That's one of the things that we do at the market is we're catering to startups. So people who may not be able to afford or have the clientele or the market to be inside of the building, that's exactly what the market is for. And we're all ears and open for people who are interested in coming up with different events and installations for the market. So you can look at the market as a bridge into the building, because that's one thing we noticed a while ago. Like everybody wouldn't be able to afford maybe a space inside of the building as a startup, but as you build your clientele up, then that's a bridge to the inside of the building. And as you get inside of the building, as we see it, is networking and forming good relationships to be able to grow and scale your business.
Yes. So I get that, but from my understanding, it's only limited to the times that the market is functioning on the property. Is that not correct? Or like, I feel like if I was to utilize the space, it's only on Saturdays from 10 to 4.
Are you referring to the market space, or are you referring to the NEA building itself?
I'm referencing what he just said, how the marketplace was a bridge to accessing. And I was saying but that's limiting from what I understand, because then that means whatever happens can only happen in coexistence to the
Right.
time.
That's also something we, I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's also something we have noticed and talking about, and we have been in talks with property management to be able to get a space sooner or later inside of the building for people who are more established and need like a everyday setting inside of the building. So that's one of the things that we're actually in planning stages of. And if you want to be in on the planning stages of that, and growing the market into like a physical location and seeing that grow out, we need as many people on hand to help us out with that and to see what that looks like.
Okay. Yeah, I'll put my email over here, and then you can I guess include me in that. And then I guess we can discuss more to see if what you're talking about is what I'm talking about. And then we can go from there.
Okay.
And Nikita, you can always stop by the property management office to talk to myself or Tameka Phillips in terms of any use of the building, be that the conference rooms or any other spaces in the building as a co-working member or as a tenant. We have various options in terms of the use and then at various price points as well. I mean, most of the time, the conference room spaces are just shared space, so they're open at no cost, unless you're looking to have like a specific reserved space, and that space is $35 an hour. But we can talk about that offline, or we can talk about that when you have some time to kind of get more information, so we're on the same page. Definitely want to make sure that you're good to go in that capacity.
Thank you, Walter. I will do both. So I will talk to Andre here, and I will come by and visit you and Tameka in my time and see what we can come up with, because I definitely do want to utilize space and definitely support this space, but also respect that, you know, you guys have to do what you have to do as property managers. But I definitely want to feel like, as a small business that is building, that I do have access to portions of the building without feeling like I'm draining, you know, whatever revenue I'm trying to build up and trying to utilize it. So as long as we can make it a win-win, I'm okay.
Sure, that's our goal. We definitely don't want to drain anything from small business owners. That is the complete opposite of what we're looking to do here at Pittsburgh Yards. So let's definitely just have that conversation.
Thank you, guys.
Is there anything else? Any other questions? All right, well, thank you, everyone. That's all that I have. I'll hand it back over to my distinguished colleague. Give us 1 second to switch.
We promise you all that it will not be like this next month. But if that is all, does anybody have any questions for me? I'm so glad we had everyone join tonight. This was my first time kind of leading it up, so if I sounded kind of nervous, well, at first nobody could hear me, but hey, we'll get it together.
You did a great job.
Thank you. But if that's it, thank you all. Y'all have a good night. And of course, Walter and I are in this office from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Good night.
You're
Good night.
great.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.